Certainly the most anticipated match of WrestleMania 30, the most over wrestler in pro wrestling today. It's our pleasure to be joined by Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys.
And we're closing in Sunday, WrestleMania 30. I mean, it's crazy to think this, and, you know, not to put any pressure on you or anything like that, but I don't remember the last time at a WrestleMania where everyone is purchasing a ticket to see you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. I mean, there have been shows where people have purchased tickets to see me.
I'm not talking about just you in particular.
Right.
I mean, because believe me, there's 2,500 people that were at the Hammerstein,
right?
You know, every few months to see you wrestle. But I mean, probably the last time is maybe Stone Cold, where there's 80,000 people ready to chant yes for you on Sunday.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, and it's funny because I go in with no expectations. I go in not anticipating, but having to be okay with, okay, there are some people there who might boo me, who maybe don't want to see me, who would rather see Triple H because they like the older wrestlers or whatnot, you know. So I'm prepared for that, but I'm also really prepared for 70,000 people screaming yes, and that's going to be really awesome. So
going into WrestleMania 30, just days away, how much pressure do you feel? I mean, considering just what we're talking about, potentially, you know, the entire Superdome chanting your name, going nuts for you. You know, what element of pressure do you feel, and how do you combat the nerves?
Do you know what? It's interesting. I don't feel a lot of pressure. Like, as far as I feel more pressure to do, like, the press conferences and the red carpets and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually not that nervous for the WrestleMania because I've somehow, and I don't know how this happened, and it was funny, when I was training with Shawn Michaels, he said something like this, and other people have said this too: the day that you're not nervous going out there is the day that you need to retire, right? But there have been many times where I've gone out there and I've been not nervous at all, and I've just been able to enjoy it, and that's what I'm hoping for. I think maybe Sunday I'll get a little bit nervous just because that's a long way to walk down, even, you know, it gives you a long time to think about it, you know, as you're walking down there. But
so you're really in your element. When you're in the ring, that's where you want to be.
That's where I feel very comfortable out there, and when I'm out there, I'm having fun. Like, that's what I love doing, you know. And so yeah, as far as the pressure, like, I feel a pressure to live up to the expectations of other people as far as what they want, you know, as far as what they want when they're paying to see Daniel Bryan. But for the most part, I can only go out there and do my best, and everything else is just, it's out of my control, and you have to accept that with a lot of this. It's out of my control. I just go out there and I do my best, and that's all I can do.
You mentioned Shawn Michaels. I mean, we've known your name. Shawn Michaels mentioned you in his book, so we've known your name since then. Have you talked to Shawn Michaels as you've gotten closer to WrestleMania? I mean, he's Mr. WrestleMania.
I haven't, actually, but who I have spoken to is William Regal, and he sent me a text similar to this. He said, "I am here if you need me. Make sure to enjoy this." And that's, you know, and that's the key, you know. If I need him, I've got people here who, if I need them, I can go to them. But most of my friends and stuff are saying, hey, you've worked really hard for this. Enjoy these moments, because these don't come around very often. You know, this sort of thing that feels as special as this does. At least to me. I don't know how special it feels to the fans, but it feels very special to me.
No, so. And it feels special to the fans because there's that change. You know, you're our wrestler. You know, when we look at Hulk Hogan and Triple H, those guys are like larger than life. But we've been following your career, so it's almost like by you being in the main event at WrestleMania, it's almost like a part of us is going to be there in the ring with you.
Yeah, and I've actually really felt that connection with the fans, and it's fascinating when you think of like how people connect and that sort of thing, because I felt that in like Ring of Honor and stuff too. This deep connection with the fans, and yeah, and it's just awesome. It's really, when you go down, it actually kind of gives me goosebumps right now when we're just talking about it, because there are certain things that you can't describe other than just feeling it. And when you go out there and you feel it, it just feels so incredible. And people have asked me about it. What does it feel like? And I can't say anything, because you can't. Words aren't meant to describe some of these things. They're just feelings, and like, you can't describe it to anybody.
What has happened along the way that we've become disconnected with Triple H? I think he's the guy in this whole deal that completely gets forgotten about, and what an amazing performance he's had leading up to WrestleMania. And Talk about having that guy to be able to go back and forth with, and how unusual is it that he's also the boss too?
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it what it is because everybody knows he's the boss. Everybody knows that he's the one in power in WWE. I mean, there's a couple people with a lot of power in WWE, and he's one of them, and so which also means that all those times that I wasn't doing anything, that he is one of the people responsible for me not doing anything on TV. So it's just, I think people really understand the dynamic, and people have somebody to really cheer, and they have somebody to really hate, and that's to me when wrestling's the best. When you have somebody that you can really get behind, and you can have somebody that really boo, and that makes it a lot of fun.
After you got screwed at SummerSlam, and we saw this great slow burn build that you just don't really see in this modern day of pro wrestling, that old school burn. Was there ever a time that you thought you were going to kind of get lost? Batista coming back. I mean, was there a time
the
that you thought
Wyatts.
maybe was there a time that you thought maybe you wouldn't be here at WrestleMania 30?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think the plan was ever for me to be here at WrestleMania 30. And things have happened that kind of forced their hand as far as that goes. Like the whole Royal Rumble thing. Like that was never meant to be a showcase for Daniel Bryan. I wasn't, that wasn't supposed to be that. It was, I had one match that was early on in the show, and then that was supposed to be it. But the fans turned it into something else, and that's the incredible thing. The thing that I have no control over. It's just and that's that connection that you just can't explain. That these people got so behind me. Like, how did that happen? Like, I have no idea, but it's really like I'm very fortunate, and you just feel like lucky. Like I'm not supposed to be here, as far as like not just okay, he's small and that sort of thing. I'm not supposed to be here, but like literally this year, even 2 months ago, I wasn't supposed to be in this position. So.
Do you even go back a little bit further and think about that match in the cage where it ends up you taking off your coveralls and you end up taking out Bray Wyatt, you end up on top of the cage. You obviously were dinged as well, and you're up there and the crowd is going bananas. And do you look back at that moment as one of those indelible moments in your career?
Yeah, it's strange because you can watch it and think that. But me, I don't have any recollection of it because I was out. And so, funny story. I made a New Year's resolution this year to not drink any bottles of water, to not drink a single bottle of water for the entire year. I carry around this bottle of water that has a filter in it, and I just keep refilling it and all that kind of stuff. After that, I had to drink like 4 to 5 bottles of water because I couldn't find my water bottle. So like that's, I was out of it, and Bree keeps telling me, yeah, you were just walking around like, where's my water bottle? Where's my water bottle? And like they couldn't find it. And the next day, when you're feeling a little bit better and that sort of thing, I was like, did anybody ever find my water bottle? No. Like it's a mystery as far as where my first water bottle went, as my filtered water bottle went. So yeah. It's I ended up drinking, so far this year I've probably drank 4 to 5 bottles of water. So
much for that New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Do you have a better appreciation for John Cena and what he has to go through on a daily basis as being like that face of the company type guy? I mean, now that's you.
Okay, so I am not to where John is yet, but since I have known John, I've had a tremendous amount of respect for him, and it's because of this. John never complains. We did that press conference on Tuesday morning, right? We were in Washington, D.C. the night before, had to take a charter flight after the show, didn't land in New York until, we didn't get to our hotel till 3. John didn't get there till later. He had to be up at 4:30 in the morning to do Good Morning America, then go to the press conference, and he never once complained about it. We sat in the back of the plane, me, Bree, Nikki, and John, and a couple other people, and like Nicole is the one who told me that John had the Good Morning America thing, and he said, yeah, I'm probably not going to get much sleep tonight, but never once did he complain about it, and that's why he's John Cena. There are a lot of guys who be like, oh man, I can't believe I have to do this, and like it's hard enough that we got in at 3. I was ironing stuff till probably 4 a.m. and had to be down in the lobby at 9:30 for the press conference. He had to get up and be TV ready for Good Morning America, a show that's watched by how many millions of people. Never once did he say like, okay, oh man, I wish I didn't have to do this, all that kind of stuff.
And he knows exactly what to say. Like, he did the whole "Where will you be?" Like, he knows exactly what gets everyone's attention.
But that's the difference, and I think that's why, and I'll speak from the fans' perspective in this regard, in that's why people love Daniel Bryan, because you go up there and you're you. Whereas John Cena, he's eloquent, he is prepped, he looks good in that suit and all. He seems comfortable in the suit, but he is. You have two John Cenas. You have the John Cena that nobody knows probably, or maybe you know a little bit, and you certainly know better. I mean, God, he could be your brother-in-law for all we know at some point down the road. But
don't you watch Total Divas?
I did, well, hey, it looks like Nikki and John are back on. Go figure. But it's it's a different kind of guy, whereas we see you as you, and I think that's the special part about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and I've always tried to just be me. And like whatever they dress you up as, whatever you are here, there, whatever, there has to be aspects of you that are there. And I have tried to be more me than whatever character that they portray. And even like some of the comedy stuff that we were doing with Kane, that's just a lot of my sense of humor. Like, and so you try to be very you while you're doing this stuff that seems like very like almost cartoonish. You know what I mean? But try to retain aspects that are still you. And I think part of my appeal is that I'm not very polished as far as like I did a press conference for SummerSlam and it was a disaster. I stumbled all over my words and I was up there in the suit just feeling very uncomfortable. And so like, okay, press conference number 2, I did a little bit better and like, and so yeah, but I hope that I don't ever lose that feeling of when people are talking to me that it's actually me and not some corporate image of okay, this is what I'm supposed to say to you guys. Okay, plug the network. Okay, and the good thing is that I can plug the network because I'm a wrestling fan. As far as like, it's awesome that we can go and like watch all these old pay-per-views.
It is awesome.
Yeah, and like
it's amazing.
And so it's like, so as a fan, I can just be like, yeah, it's incredible, and not feel like I'm okay. These are the numbers for the network statistics and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how any of that works. I don't even know how technology works in general. But somehow I was able to manage the network on my iPad. So,
well, Daniel, we'll be rooting for you. I can't imagine anyone booing you and wanting Triple H to kick you in the stomach and giving you a pedigree and beating you in 13 seconds. I can't imagine anybody ever bringing that up.
Oh man, okay. Can you imagine what would happen with the fans if that happened?
Oh my!
If we walked out there, boot, pedigree, 1, 2, 3. I feel like it would almost be worth it, like just to see what the fans would do. Like, what the?
Being that we're going to be in the audience, I really don't want that to happen.
Can we avoid the riots on Sunday,
Yeah.
please? That would be great. I got to ask you this too. We call you the human fast break offense. It's amazing how you can go from knee to the face of Batista to the drop kick to Orton to suicide dive out of the ring onto Triple. You're amazing in terms of your energy. With the potential for 2 matches on Sunday, do you have to be a little bit more methodical?
I can't be. I don't wrestle like that. I don't know how to do it. Like, you literally, like, and that's the hardest thing about wrestling through injuries for me is that, like, okay, you need to tone it down a little bit. You need to do this or that. And I know how to protect myself, a little bit with that. But this is how I wrestle. And the good thing is that I feel like I don't ever get tired. And one of my favorite UFC fighters, a guy named Diego Sanchez, he just fought recently. Joe Rogan did an interview with him, and he asked him. He said his three best attributes. He didn't mention anything about skill or anything like that. He said his 3 best attributes: legs, lungs, heart. And
that's great.
And when you watch him fight, he never gives up. He's always pushing forward, and like it's just he's incredible and inspirational, and that's what I feel like it's like with me. It's legs, lungs, heart. I don't get tired. My legs never get out, and I never give up. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Listen, we wish you the best of luck. Obviously, we're big fans. You've your rise has been just something historic, honestly. I hope you're proud of it, because we say on the show that we have not seen anything like this in terms of the genuine nature, the organic nature of this since Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you wear that. I hope that's part of your heart right there, because that's something to really be proud of.
Yeah, it is, but it's also something that it's, as far as being proud of it, it's also a lot of just the fan response, you know. And I've said this quite a bit, but there are guys who have worked every bit as hard as I have, who are every bit as good as I am, but somehow that connection didn't forge. Like if you were at those Manhattan Center shows with Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness is a perfect example.
Why Nigel is not in this position to even be given opportunities like this to connect with a crowd like this are just matters of circumstance, just matters of sheer luck. And I don't know if I don't think I've ever heard Steve Austin or The Rock or Hulk Hogan or anybody like that say something like this. A lot of this is just luck. You get here and you get certain breaks, and yeah, we work really hard. I've worked really hard to get where I'm at, but a lot of people have worked really hard, and they haven't gotten opportunities like this. So as far as being proud of it, I'm proud of how hard I've worked. As far as the situation I'm at, I feel very lucky and very fortunate.
Enjoy it, man. We're going to be enjoying it on Sunday.
All right, thank you very much.